Hello and welcome back to the Gloves Off, Helmets On podcast. Today we've got the Miami race rankings. With a sprint, obviously, so we've got that took that into consideration. Championship's looking spicy.
It is. It's
Mr. Oscar Piastri seems to be running away a little bit, but I'm sure Norris, Verstappen, and Russell, they're gonna have an answer, especially Norris.
I know for a fact as well, Norris definitely went home this weekend fuming.
Cried.
I feel like he was probably one of them races that he was a bit irritated about. He thought,
Yeah.
I wanted that.
Especially with that being his first win last year, he would have wanted to win it again for sure.
And the sort of hype was around him to do it again, especially in McLaren. But his teammate just snatched it.
I think Zach Brown switched sides now. He's no longer Team Norris. I think he's Team Piastri.
Yeah, I was thinking that this weekend because obviously they've been favouring Norris. I wonder what trajectory they're going to take now, whether it is the Piastri or the Norris route, because he is just genuinely the favourite, Norris, and I think they'll be a bit like, gonna have to go.
Seems like they're gonna swap.
Yeah, I mean, realistically, they're gonna have to if a couple more races go by and it is Piastri
Especially
dominating.
if like Verstappen or Russell are still a threat, then you've got to pick a number one driver, I suppose.
Yeah, you'd be stupid not to.
Mhm.
On the other side of the grid, Mercedes seems to have a lot going on this weekend. So first of all, Kimi Antonelli's now got a documentary out about him.
He does on Netflix. That's
which
pretty
is
cool.
a bit crazy. I can't imagine why it needed a full Netflix documentary, but it did. I think it's like an hour long. We are still yet to watch it though.
Yeah.
But I mean, I suppose it gives quite a big insight in replacing Lewis Hamilton.
Yeah. It'll just be about him being a child, I'm assuming, and on going through the ranks. I guess I don't really know.
Because he's now the youngest pole sitter.
On a technicality.
Well, I mean, if you class obviously the sprint as pole, well, I mean, realistically, yeah, that's what he's been labelled on for F1.
Yeah, it's a very you don't know. It's blurred lines with the sprint race. Does it count? Does it not count?
Yeah,
all up for interpretation.
A race. So I mean, he's still done it, which is pretty damn cool.
And he qualified third in the race, so he did have a good qualifying weekend.
Yeah, he had a pretty good weekend
Just
overall.
not great in a race.
And then his teammate as well. Apparently, there's been some meetings with Red Bull this weekend.
What, George Russell?
Mm-hmm.
Oh no!
I really hope he doesn't, because he'd be stupid. I feel like they're gonna do a little switch.
Mercedes need to just sign him again. Re-sign Russell for a contract extension. I can't see Russell and Verstappen swap that. I'd break my heart.
Surely Russell, in his right mind, is going to think, though, like, it's probably not the smartest thing for me to do.
Yeah.
But I don't know, because obviously it's not rocket science that Toto Wolff kind of likes Verstappen.
He does, but Russell's doing everything. Like, again, another podium. So, he can't do anything more.
It seems to be that, like...
No matter what he does.
I don't think it's... I don't know.
We'll have to see what
I don't understand it either. But as well this weekend, we thought we were going to get some Cadillac updates, but we've literally had nothing.
Nothing, literally, yeah. I also thought...
I feel like everyone kind of had an idea that, something would have come to light this weekend.
But do you know someone who was in the paddock this weekend that hasn't been for a while? Mick Schumacher. Is he linked? Him and Perez? Could it be? I'd love that. I think that'd be a great pairing as well. And I think that'd be really good for Cadillac sponsors.
Maybe Mick Schumacher will redeem himself.
Hopefully, he's still, 24, 25. He's still got a lot of time left. Got 10 years ahead of him if he comes back. I'd love to see that.
Yeah, I thought they'd reveal like the livery or something. I don't know.
Yeah, something.
But yeah, we've got absolutely nothing. But we've seen everyone else's liveries this week. Oh, the pink themes.
Oh,
it was so cute. Racing Bulls pink was gorgeous.
Yeah.
They did it so well. And then obviously a few people, the disco helmet was pretty cool.
I liked it. The Mercedes helmet and overalls, cool.
Yeah, definitely. I really liked Antonelli's helmet this weekend. Like the beigey burgundy.
It was cool.
Yeah.
A little brown colour, a little
brown,
Prix colour.
Little Prix helmet. But yeah, everyone looks pretty cool. I feel like the Americas seem to always get a bit funky.
Yeah.
Which is cool. But yeah, and Doohan is still in the seat.
I think that was it. This is
Do you
his last race.
think?
There's a lot of talks that it's already done PTS. We just haven't found out about it yet. But it's
Didn't
already...
his PR mess up?
I don't know. Something
Colapinto's PR have screwed it up, I think, apparently.
So do you think Colapinto's in for the next race?
I don't know, because
think
it's hard to tell, because Alpine seem to be under the impression where they're like, oh, it's just background noise, like Doohan's our team.
Flavio Briatore, whatever he is, CEO or wherever his position he's in, he's very he's of the opinion that it's done. I think think he's already come out and said like this is probably like I don't know. I saw something about it that it's already been done and we just don't know. It's not been officially announced yet, but.
Well, at least you got to drive around in a Lego car because everyone looked like they were having lots of fun in those little Lego cars.
That was a really good idea. Whoever did that.
They are pretty cool. But I was watching it thinking, like, looking at how happy he was in his little situation, and then it just made me sad because the poor guy's going to get kicked out sooner or later.
I know.
But let's go on to the rankings.
Yeah. Now this is what we're all here for. Gonna start off as we do every week with the Racing Bulls, the nice pink car. It looks beautiful.
It was
the
so
best
pretty.
looking car of the week. In terms of performance, not so much. Hadjar, strong race to be fair to him. Just missed out on the points by 0.2 seconds, I think.
Yeah.
To obviously Sonoda's penalty, finished 11th. I've given him a 3-star.
He's such a solid driver. He really is. I don't know. I just really like him at the moment.
Yeah.
I've given him 2.5 because he just finished just outside the points on everything really.
Yeah.
Like bang average qualifying, race position, and sprint. So 2.5 stars because it wasn't terrible.
He had a good
still
race.
pretty much like in the middle,
mix.
but just missed points.
Yeah, and obviously outperformed his teammate Liam Lawson.
Not hard.
What's happening with Lawson?
I have no idea.
We say this every race now. Like it's not the bug. Like this is now the standard. Lawson is pretty slow. I've given him a 1.5.
I've given him 1 star. I don't know. I mean, not finishing the actual race, I took away the 0.5, so he's got 1 star.
He also did wipe out Alonso in the sprint.
Yeah, which was rude.
Alonso's finally going to score some points.
He took him out.
I'm good.
But yeah, his performance in the sprint was like bang average, if that. Again, not got any points this weekend. Qualifying was terrible, and obviously didn't finish the race. So 1 star for me. He needs to sort his
They're
stuff
actually
out.
decent as well this year, right? They had a really good start race.
They are.
In terms of, they look really quick, and they just none of them, well, Hadjar's sort of doing a bit more, but none of them are really making the most of it.
Well, Sonoda was carrying a bit,
He
weren't
was.
I feel like Hadjar was even performing better when Sonoda was there. So I don't really know what's gone on there.
Yeah. Anyway, sorry about that. On to Haas.
On to Haas.
Ollie Behrman actually was having a semi-decent race until his power unit failure.
Just everything broke.
Nothing. He wasn't doing anything special. I've given him a 2-star.
Yeah, he's definitely had some moments this season, but this weekend was not one of them. Sprint wasn't very good, 14th.
Qualified last in sprint quali and quali.
Qualifying.
That's
so
really bad.
I've given him 1 star this weekend because usually he performed like pretty decent.
Yeah.
Especially in the Haas. So he just was, I don't know, just wasn't there this weekend from what we usually see from him.
It's he had a decent sprint, but yeah, I mean, he needs to fix his qualifying really. And to be fair, Ocon's qualifying normally is pretty poor as well. I mean, obviously this week it was good, but maybe it's something to do with the car and qualifying. I don't know what it is.
I also thought that Haas were going to do livery this week because they obviously it's an American team.
Yeah.
So I'm guessing they'll wait till like Texas or something.
Yeah, or Vegas.
I don't know, or Vegas, yeah.
Both.
But I was expecting to see a little something, but we got nothing.
Yeah, I thought we'd get a lot more than what we did. Anyway. My bad, a brain fart. Sauber.
Oh, we have a knock on.
Oh, yeah,
Mega
sorry,
brain
bad.
fart.
Sorry, really bad. Okay, Ocon, I've given him a 3-star. Just above average. He was better than Behrman. I think, he had a very strong, race, just outside the points again. He was definitely in the mix for that P10, with obviously Sonoda's 5-second penalty. Just couldn't pass Hadjar and couldn't keep up.
One thing I will say, because obviously I've wrote it down on my rankings, this weekend I think he's pretty poor for like driver's skill. I haven't really been like, whoa, this is good.
Yeah.
Like looking at what I've given everyone, I feel kind of harsh, but I just don't think anyone really had that performance this weekend.
Well, we're going to get onto a certain person.
Well, yeah. But Ocon has got 2 stars because obviously he did a bit better than Behrman. Just didn't get any points.
Yeah.
And just, again, like a really average race, not really much from him. So, yeah. 2 stars.
Okay, on to Sauber now, which obviously tried to jump the gun there, but Bortoletto, he's not getting it. He's getting unlucky, to be fair to him, but he doesn't seem to be clicking the way I thought he would. I've given him a 2-star.
I thought, to be fair, he was actually having a really good weekend. Like, in the car that they've got, see, now that we've outlined the fact that we just pretty much base it on, they're in their own little group, because obviously the car's the worst. Sprint 15th, qualified 13th,
You
and
did
obviously
have a
didn't
good
finish the
qualifying,
race.
yeah.
Yeah, but I think overall, to finish 15th in the sprint, from what we usually see, is like, you don't really get past 18. And qualifying that well too, because they usually qualify at the back. I thought he actually had like a pretty decent weekend, and I was looking forward to see what that would translate to in the race, but obviously
Just fell
nothing.
off, didn't it?
So I'm giving him 2 stars based on that.
Yeah, they were definitely struggled big time.
Mm.
But Hulkenberg actually was in the mix
Yeah, he
for
was
that
quite
P10
good.
again. I don't know why they didn't pit him when the virtual safety car came out. They waited till after, which is a bit strange. Had they pitted him, who knows? He could have got a point. But
Yeah.
I've given him a 3.5.
So I've given him 2.5 because I don't know. Like I said, you sort of expect a bit more from Hulkenberg. I don't think it was that good. I think he did okay in the sprint. Obviously, just missed points, which I thought was really, really good in that car particularly. Qualifying wasn't amazing, and then he finished 14th in the race. But that is also because a lot of people didn't finish
Yeah,
it.
that's true.
So realistically, he was at the back. So 2.5 stars from me.
Yeah. To be fair, it's one of the better weekends that they've had.
Yeah,
considering where
definitely.
they are. Still not great, but yes, they are now last in the constructors as well, which I think they're going to stay there.
Yeah, but it's kind of what you expect. There's not really much that they can do. I think they're waiting for the little new beginning, and
Audi.
hopefully we see some differences next season.
Yeah. Okay. Now Alpine. Pretty poor weekend from them.
Yeah.
It seems to be they had that one good race, and now they're pretty much at the back of the grid again. It's a bit weird with Alpine. They're up and down, but
Yeah, I can't really tell like where the cars are or
No,
anything. I don't know.
literally.
They are just a bit all over the place because usually Gasly, you can tell by Gasly's performance how the car is. But
seems to be very heavy on the track dependent.
Hmm.
Anyway, Jack Doohan.
So, do we officially think it was his last race?
I think for me, there's no way I see him at Imola. I think this is the end.
Yeah, I mean, he did have an absolute crash out in sprint qualifying because pit timing with Gasly sent him out at the same time, and then obviously it messed up
He
doing
didn't
for
get his
getting
lap
into
in.
finishing Q1. So it was like the one time that he could have, out qualified Gasly or even got into Q2 because I don't even know if he's been in Q2. I really
Not
can't
in the
remember.
sprints, no.
No, so. Yeah, and he absolutely crashed out over the radio about it. He was fuming.
And that sounds like, to me, a man that knows this is his last
Yeah,
race.
and he wanted to sort of make a statement or, you know, do something. So, I mean, you can just sort of go off that behaviour. Obviously didn't finish the race.
No.
Qualified 14th. So, I've given him 1.5 stars, unfortunately.
Okay.
I wish I could have given him higher before he leaves us. I mean, he might not be leaving us. We don't know.
Yes.
Oh, well, I hope not, because I feel kind of bad for his situation.
Yeah, it is pretty rough. I've given him a 1 star, so I've been a bit more harsh. And to be fair, probably should have bumped that up. But I'm going to be firm. I'm going to stay at a 1. Yeah, I mean, see you later, mate. It's been nice, but hopefully, he goes back to a reserve driver and he might get another chance in the future.
Yeah.
Depending on how Colapinto does. But I think, in the next few days, it's going to be announced on the good old F1 Instagram. We're going to open it one day and it's going to see Colapinto.
Out.
Yeah.
So, Gasly, again, really hasn't given us much this weekend. So, finished 8th in the sprint, so just about got some points.
Yep.
I'm pretty sure, yeah.
Hmm.
Qualified 18th, finished 13th in the race, so I didn't get any points from there, unfortunately. But this is what I mean, like, you really can't get an idea of what the car is like, because you've gone from finishing 8th in the sprint,
I think it was 7th.
and then qualifying 18th, like...
Yeah.
It's just all a bit all over the place. Like, it's not really got like a steady sort of performance.
But you got to think in the sprint, he actually finished on the road like 12th. But
Yeah.
there were that many like penalties from people in the,
Yeah,
in
it
the
was
top.
a bit of a chaos.
That it's
sprint.
obviously bumped him off. I think he probably finished like 10th or 11th. But yeah.
But there were like 4 penalties given out at the end of the sprint.
Albon, Verstappen.
Sainz get one?
Sainz didn't get one.
Lawson.
Alonso got wiped out. Sainz wiped himself out. That's already 5 people that were going to finish in the points.
Yeah.
That didn't. Obviously Leclerc, that was another free spot technically. So yeah, I'm pretty sure even Behrman. I think Behrman finished 8th, and he managed to get a point for Haas, and then Gasly was 7th. But yeah, it was crazy, man. I don't know. It was a weird sprint. Like after the race, all of them. It was just all swapping and
Yeah, because
changing and
everything like was getting updated like every 10-20 minutes.
Yeah.
Of them like stewards finally making a decision on
so
something.
obviously, but that's why we have some people like you Gasly's, who nicked a couple of points in the sprint, but
Yeah.
it's not really a true representation of where they finished in the sprint. It's just all these weird 5-second penalties that everyone got.
Kind of the same in the race as well. A few people didn't finish. Anyway, 2 stars.
Okay, I'll give him a 2.5, so won't say much on it, but yeah, there you go.
Another terrible team performance.
Go on.
Aston Martin.
Aston Martin. It's got worse.
I don't know. It's sad.
When you didn't think it could.
But it did.
So,
to be fair, Stroll's pretty good in the sprint.
Where did he finish? He did. He had a good sprint actually.
Surprising.
Yeah, he did.
He didn't translate to qualifying though.
No, he was awful in qualifying. You know what? Because of the sprint, I'm giving Stroll a 2.5.
Okay, well he's got 1.5 from me. He obviously went into the sprint as a different person, then went into the race. He couldn't be bothered.
No.
He fell asleep.
Exactly.
Qualified, terrible.
Where did he qualify?
19th.
And then he finished at last
16th.
of the actual finishes.
Yeah. So, good one, mate.
Yeah, Stroll, strange guy. But yeah, that sprint, obviously big points, I guess, for Aston Martin. I mean, a single point would be big for Aston Martin at this point.
Yeah.
Alonso's still yet to score points, but obviously he was going to in the sprint.
Which is a crazy sentence.
I know. Stroll scored points like 4 times now.
But Alonso has not.
No, I was starting to question, is he losing it? But no, he's not. He'll be back. Just you wait. Next race.
Don't put that into the universe.
Next race he'll be on a podium.
Well, finished 15th in the race, but I've given him 1 star.
Okay, that's harsh.
There's nothing. Basically finished seconds last in the race, qualified 17th. The sprint didn't finish yet.
He was good. The sprint's not his fault.
Well,
I'm not
one
losing
star.
him points for that. I've given him a 2 star.
Okay, well, he's got 1 star from me, unfortunately.
Okay. But yeah, pretty stinky from Aston Martin. Obviously, did get a few points in the sprint, and that's all they can go off. I don't know where. I think they're like 8th in the constructors, 7th, I think, in the constructors now, which is scary.
I know.
Because they've been 5th for so long.
Well, hopefully something might fall into place soon. We don't know.
Who knows? But with that team's probably...
Sorry.
That team's probably the most, like, mysterious, you know what I mean? You have no idea what's coming from them.
Yeah.
Really don't. Okay, enough waffling. Let's
Red
get on to
Bull.
Red Bull.
Oh, Verstappen's a dad guy.
He is, yeah.
The girl dad.
Yeah.
She's called Lily.
Lily, that's got a nice
It
name.
is cute. But yeah, popped baby out and came to do the sprint race the morning after.
Yeah, literally. So, Sonoda, you got a point?
He actually did okay.
For the second Red Bull driver to score points, I could give him a
It's
5
a
out of 5.
miracle.
I could give him a 5 star there.
Yeah, for that
'Cause
alone.
that doesn't happen, okay? He had a pretty good sprint as well.
Yeah, 6th in the sprint, which
So
is really good.
he's come out of this weekend with 4 points.
He has, and
That's
that's
pretty good.
better than none.
That's actually half decent for a second.
That's the most anyone's got for a hot minute.
For a second Red Bull seat, that's good. I'm impressed.
So, yeah, qualified 10th, finished 10th, so that translated into pretty much the same.
Yep.
3 stars for me. I think really good. I'm glad he's got some points, but you can do more, Sonoda. We know you can do more.
I'll give him a 2.5. Similar reasons to you. Pretty average. I mean, it is good, obviously, for where
It's good in the terms of like...
Yeah, but it's not good, is it?
No, it's good when you're looking at the Red Bull cars.
When you look at... I hope you saw that. If that was caught on camera, that'd be cool. A bit of lightning.
There's a lot of thunder and lightning stuff.
Yeah. But yeah, it's obviously... On the grand scheme of things, it's poor, but for how low our expectations have got for that seat, it's pretty good. That's where I'm stood on it. So, yeah, 2.5 star. Max Verstappen. What could have been? I mean, really, what could have been? I definitely think had the virtual safety car not have obviously given Russell the P3, Verstappen would have finished on the podium. He would have took that 3rd, but obviously you can't account for. You know, you never know when a safety car's coming.
No, definitely not.
So I'm not going to judge him on that. Obviously, he whacked it on pole.
He did. Qualifying stood him.
Unbelievable. For that alone, that's obviously helped his score. I've given him a 3.5.
Yeah, I've also matched that. I've given him 3.5. It's a shame he couldn't obviously get that win, which I'm kind of sad about because I was actually kind of rooting for him.
I was optimistic.
He usually can, like, regardless of whether he's got a good car or not, like he could have won that, but something clearly just wasn't there.
I know, but the McLarens were really
yeah,
Norris
ridiculous.
finished 30 seconds in front of Russell. There was no way Verstappen was holding. The fact he got to, I think it was in lap like 16 when he got overtaken for the lead. So the fact he held him back to 16 laps is impressive.
And he'd put in a good shift to try and keep him away, but then in the end he did kind of let him pass, so you can just...
as soon as they passed him, they just left him. So.
Shaky start as well, but he brought it back.
He did.
The car just kept locking up every time.
Shoved Norris off the
yeah.
track.
But yeah, 3.5 stars for Verstappen this weekend.
Overall, not a bad weekend for Red Bull.
No, definitely not. It's the most
for where they are at the minute,
overall.
Yeah, they both with both drivers scoring decent points. But yeah, I think Red Bull are going to finish 4th this year, and there's not much they can do about it.
Yeah.
Ferrari will eventually overtake them when they sort their problems out, which we'll get onto in a minute. Okay, next team, Mercedes. Strong weekend.
Yeah,
genuinely.
they did. It's a common theme. Mercedes are just bang on it at the moment. Really strong weekend.
Quite literally, consistently the second best team.
Yeah.
Second place. Obviously, Antonelli with his sprint pole, it didn't really go well in the sprint
just
race.
Didn't start. I
Mainly
think if you
with
got
the pits,
that start, yeah.
Obviously, he had that awful start where he dropped down to, was it 4th?
Kind of cute though, because it's where you can actually see like the difference in driver skill. Because obviously Norris was pretty new into the sport last year, and
new at the front.
Yeah, and you could see that obviously Norris had a pretty hard time with race starts, and it usually is a pattern with those kind of drivers. And obviously Antonelli still has to, learn a few things.
It's overwhelming,
probably
being at the front with all these big stars.
But then you have just got to dominate the turn and really have your own back to try and keep you, because everyone's going to come for you.
Exactly.
So unfortunately, he didn't know this.
But
he knows what to bring on.
Yeah, you have. The only way to learn is by making mistakes. Put that one in the quotes. I've given him a 3-star.
I've given him 4 stars because of the pole. Qualified 3rd and then finished in 6th in the race. Not brilliant, but I think overall he had like a really, really successful weekend, and that pole was great.
Yeah.
So yeah, I've given him 4 stars.
Okay. I do think Mercedes are in a good spot, so I've given Antonelli 3 and I've given Russell a 3.5.
Such a little dream team at the moment, aren't they?
Definitely. It'd be sad to see it end.
Yeah. So matching Antonelli, I've given Russell a 4-star as well. Again, pretty solid weekend. Back on podium, like he's pretty loving his little second and third.
Do you know a fun fact about Russell this year? In every single qualifying, so sprint qualifying and qualifying, and every race and every sprint race, he's the only driver to finish in the top 5 of every single session, which is consistent.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's just is like the dream team, and Antonelli is always there with him as well. So
yeah. So I think with Russell, obviously he was. Had there been no virtual safety car, let's be honest, he's finishing 4th.
Yeah.
The virtual safety car massively helped him. I mean, who knows? But I think he would have finished 4th. I don't think he would.
Got to take the opportunity when it comes, though.
But yeah, obviously it happened, and he just about got 3rd, and he didn't lose it. So you've got to give him that. He's whacked his car back on the podium. Solid. I'm really happy with Mercedes at the minute.
Yeah, me too.
Another team I'm really happy with, in fact, ecstatic with, is Williams.
My one and only 5-star this weekend has gone out to Albon. Stunning.
Can I just say, I've also given him a 5-star.
Yeah.
What a sensational drive. All weekend, by the way.
Yeah, literally throughout the weekend.
So,
5th.
With the sprint problem, with the whole... He was... I'm fairly certain he finished 4th and then got a stupid 5-second... It weren't even a valid 5-second penalty. It was a load of rubbish.
Yeah,
and he replied to that 5-second penalty and losing the points in the sprint to finishing 5th in the race.
I know, which is big points
Huge
for Williams.
Points.
So beautiful.
Yeah.
So 5 stars from me. And as if that 5 wasn't enough, all the points, Sainz also brought some points home.
He did. What can I just say before? Let me keep glazing Albon here. Qualified 7th, very solid, high up in Q3 really.
Yeah, definitely.
He's beaten Antonelli, his teammate, and both Ferraris.
Carrying it on his back. And if you'd have told someone that over Christmas while they're waiting for the season to begin again, they'd have got a little night shot.
Exactly. And all these people that are going to watch this, all 2 of them, taking a mick out of me for saying that Williams is going to finish 6th. Even you were, I remember.
I know. Cause
they're going to finish 5th.
They're
going to finish even higher.
He's smashing it.
They are now clearing Haas in 6th in the constructors. They're claiming 5th spot, and that is just seeing Williams back up there is unbelievable.
It seems like Sainz is finally getting it as well now.
He is. He's on his way.
Apart from sprint, but big weekend for him apparently.
He's out qualified. So going on to Sainz, he's out qualified Albon. The last 3 qualifyings, Sainz has been 6th, 8th and 6th.
Damn.
That is unbelievable.
He's got some favourite positions there.
Yeah, that's heavy in qualifying. That's a really good qualifying. The race, genuinely, P7 was on, and then the two Ferraris played a blind of a move.
Well, they got lucky.
Leclerc went down the inside, left in there, so Hamilton could come through. He lost 2 places in one corner.
Yeah, it unfortunately happens though, doesn't it? Sometimes you've got 2 people fighting.
2 people on the same team behind you. You know, they can play tricks like that. Had they not been teammates, he probably would have kept the 8th and finished 8th. But yeah, 9th. I mean, obviously, on paper, Albon gets 10 points, Sainz got 2. It doesn't look great in that sense. But I think 9th is actually still a really good result.
For little teams, it's a big result.
Even
so
if they got
stars.
only one of them scored 9th, it's still good. The fact they've managed to get 9th and 5th is sensational. So I've given him a 3.5.
Okay.
Both Williams in the points. That makes me happy, man.
Successful.
Sorry, right. Let's move on to McLaren.
You're a fanboy.
I know, I really am. McLaren. A 1-2. Bare minimum of what we expect now.
Yeah, it's just a bit predictable.
Yeah. The only team, actually, that have finished 1st and 2nd in a sprint and in the race in the same weekend.
It's like having a Verstappen that wins 19 races, but there's just 2 of them.
Yeah, which makes it a bit better because they'll take points off each other, hence why we still have 4
you'll get a good rivalry.
4 people in the title fight and not just 1.
Piastri, I think I favoured this weekend. I think he had an amazing weekend. I've given him 4.5 stars. Sprint, beautiful. Qualifying, pretty good. And then obviously won the race. So 4.5 stars for me. I think he had a really successful weekend. And he seems to not crack under the pressure or anything, whereas you sort of see that from Norris, unfortunately, which is why it is a bit messy with points. But Piastri seems to be solid enough that, he can hold his own and doesn't let that pressure get to him.
Got a bit unlucky in the sprint with a safety car. He was going to win the sprint and then obviously safety car give it to Norris. But still, 2nd in the sprint is pretty good.
Yeah, definitely.
Bit of is 4th a poor qualifying for a McLaren? I would say so, to be fair.
Compared to, knowing what it can do and the speed that it gets up to, you'd expect more from how,
You'd expect 1st and 2nd every week.
Well, yeah.
I'd say, a bit of a rough qualifying, but my God, did he recover it.
He did.
Because he's gone on to win the race. Now, I've given him a 4-star. Because, to be fair, no other reason than it should be happening every week like that, to be fair. It should have been, pole and the win, but that's the only thing I can judge him on. 4-star, still a high ranking, don't get me wrong. But yeah, and I've given Norris a 3.5 because, again, very strong race, finished 2nd.
Yeah.
He needs to start winning a couple though to get this title and fight back on, because Piastri, to my knowledge, is 16 points ahead now, which isn't a lot, but
it gives him that advantage.
It's the little margins.
Keeps winning. Yeah. So I've given Norris 4 stars. Obviously, won the sprint race and then qualified and finished 2nd. So a really good weekend from Norris, but saw what you expect, and I've given Piastri some more. So just 4 stars for me.
Piastri definitely had the stronger weekend, but not by much. Okay, Ferrari.
Sorry,
just when we said they thought, they look like they're going to come back here. They're making a comeback. Leclerc whacked it on the podium. Hamilton nicked 5th or 6th somewhere. I can't remember. They've gone and had a nightmare. 8th and 9th.
Yeah. So
what?
I have no idea what's going on. It's terrible.
It was tough.
Qualifying, terrible. Even from Leclerc, Leclerc's a notoriously good qualifier, and just getting nothing out of it.
And he said as well, he felt like he maximised the qualifying. He couldn't have really. He put a pretty good lap in, and it only put him 8th. That's scary.
Yeah, and he didn't do the sprint race, so you can't really judge him on that. Yeah. And then obviously the race. So really not good. No. I've given Leclerc 2.5 stars because, like you were just saying about he's trying to get the most out of the car, and it's translated to qualifying 8th.
Yeah, it's not good.
Yeah.
I've given Leclerc a 2.5. Obviously, you've got to take a hit on his rankings because he's crashed on the way to the sprint, which is vital points. That they've lost 4 or 5 points there in the sprint potentially. So, which can make the difference come the end of the season. So, I think that's pretty poor from Leclerc. I would definitely say Hamilton had the stronger weekend this weekend,
I agree.
which is I think that might be the first time that's happened really. Maybe you could argue China was a better weekend for Hamilton, but definitely Leclerc's been better than him the majority of the season, so obviously Hamilton needed that.
Hamilton seems to be doing okay on the sprint front. Obviously finished third.
Yep.
Got a little podium from that.
Very
he's doing something.
Good team call with the tyres.
Yeah, definitely.
The first one to whack the softs on, and it paid off.
But then the race, qualifying terrible, and obviously finished terrible. So slightly better performance. I've given Hamilton a 3-star.
Yeah, I've also given Hamilton a 3 because the sprint obviously hedges it for him compared to Leclerc, really.
Hopefully, I mean, we say this literally every week, but you just need more.
Yeah, I think they're gonna figure it out soon enough. Obviously, we've got an Italian race next, which so there's a lot of pressure on them to do well.
And they'll be gutted if they really don't do
exactly.
well with
So
that.
I think next race in 2 weeks,
Monaco,
they're gonna show us what they're made of.
Monaco is soon coming up as well.
And Monaco's
so
the race
Charles
after
is going to be
Italy,
begging everyone
Leclerc's
to
got 2 home races in a row coming up, so
Need to sort it out.
He's got to perform. But yeah, there's our race rankings.
And before we wrap it up, have you got a driver of the day?
I do.
Okay.
I think, no surprise to anyone, Alex Albon is my driver of the day, and he should be your driver of the day, and he should be your driver of the day.
Yeah, I agree. So Albon's my driver of the day. I think he did absolutely amazing this weekend, and he looked so happy with himself as well again.
As he should be.
He's so giddy when he does good, and it's lovely to see for Williams. So yeah, and I mean the Williams team in general this weekend is my drivers of the day.
Yeah, team of the week.
Team of the week, definitely.
Yeah, for sure. I think Albon obviously is both of our only 5-star entry, and yeah, absolutely.
Deserved.
Levels above the rest this weekend, Alex Albon. Fair play to you, mate.
Yeah.
Big points for Williams. Okay, we'll be back with the Imola race rankings in a couple of weeks' time, and then obviously we've got Monaco as well after that. Thank you for listening, and we'll be back very shortly. Bye.
Bye.